Hello guys, this is Kudo, and today we'll continue our mini-series on Firebase, and in this video we'll finish what we start in the previous video, so being able to sign in with Apple on Android. So in this video we'll see the AAR and also the deployment on Android and the testing Apple sign-in on the device. So let's get into it. Okay, so before opening the AAR, let's see what is going on the C# port. So let's go on El Professor Kudo Firebase asset, let's go on script, and let's go on Firebase. So as you can see, I separate Apple sign-in and Google sign-in. So let's open Apple sign-in and we will see the Apple sign-in Android. Okay, so nothing much than the other one from Apple sign-in iOS. So we inherited from Firebase abstract Apple sign-in, and again we still call the same function, sign in, sign out, on Apple sign-in, on Apple sign out, on Apple sign-in success, and on Apple sign out success. So here we got the on click, so for the sign in, and after we just call the plugin, so Apple sign-in plugin call, and we call the sign-in. Again, in the start function, same as the other Google sign-in, we check to get the class Apple sign-in plugin in the Apple sign-in plugin AAR I made. And here, this is the difference here on the on Apple sign-in success. Basically, we receive the token I talk about, and in this token, we will change it for the credential. Okay, so now let's see the Android manifest. Okay, so as you can see, I add a new line, so the activity here. So again, if you don't use the manifest, so just drag and drop my manifest into the plugin folder. If you use it, just add this two more line, so the activity to be able to, for the Google sign-in, get the Google sign-in, and for the Apple sign-in to get the Apple sign-in. Okay, so now let's open the Android Studio project. And there it is, guys. So basically in the Android Studio project, we got the two classes I talk about, so the Apple sign-in activity and the Apple sign-in plugin. So here in the Apple sign-in plugin, we define our game object receiver, same as the Google sign-in. And here we got the two functions, so sign in and sign out, to be able to sign in. So when we will try to sign in, we will just start the activity. And basically in the activity, this is how we handle things. So in the activity, we got a bunch of variables. So the redirect URI, the receiver name, the client ID, the cloud function name, etc., etc. But don't worry, we will see that in the scriptable object I made. And the most important part in the Java class Apple sign-in activity is this part. So this is the URL I was talking about with the option. So basically this is a constrict URL for Apple to them to be able to give us a code, and with this code we can exchange this code for a token. And as you can see, we got a bunch of options, so the redirect URI, the response ID, the response type, the response mode, the scope, and the state. After, there was the two function, so the handle intent and the exchange code for ID token. This is what we do to change the code for the ID token, constructing a post request, and with that we are able to get the token. And as soon as we get the token, in this JSON we create, we just need the ID token we will change with Unity. Okay, and also when the code wasn't able to change, we just say on Apple sign-in failed. So it seemed to be easy, it seemed to be like not a lot of code, but trust me, that was very annoying and very hard to particularly this part, the structure of the URI, and also the exchange code, because I didn't know you need to exchange a code from Apple. That was very, very tricky to say and make a request to be able to get this code to change it for the token. Anyway, you don't need to understand everything, that's okay, because I already, so if I close this Android Studio project, I already create for you the plugin. So let's go on plugin and let's go on Android, and I already generate the Apple sign-in plugin. So it is in release mode. So make sure to have this. If you want to change some stuff inside or make some improvement, feel free to do it. I also join in this package, so the Android Studio project here. So for Apple and for Google, I separate everything, because if people want to use only Google or people want to use only Apple, or both. You can do this. This is why I compartment everything, so you can choose whatever solution you want. And last thing we need to do, so let's go on El Professor Kudo here, and let's go on setting, and let's go back to our Android iOS Firebase build setting. And let's see this on the inspector. So there it is, guys. So same this one, so the Android, Google sign-in, etc. I hope you watch the other video and be able to fill everything up. And now we will need to understand how this thing works. So we need the Android Apple Redirect URI, the Android Redirect OS, the path, the URL key, the host, and also Apple Client ID and Apple Cloud Function URI. So these two of them, we will see that a bit later, but we will first fill everything. So what is the Android Apple Redirect URI? So basically is the URI we set in the index, remember in the index.js. So let's paste this. So this is the redirect URL we use. So for the redirect host, what we need to do, basically, we will need to use configuration on the service ID. So basically this, so Unity Firebase Toolkit Web App, this one. So let's copy paste this. For the Android redirect path, so this one, we will use the redirect.html. So do not forget the slash. Redirect HTML. For the Android custom key, so basically this one will be Unity DL. So this is the basic one because this is how the thing will work. And the Android custom host, so basically this will be your bundle identifier or your package name. So in my case, this one. So now something very important. So this is okay if you put it in the Android metadata file, but for the two of them, so the Apple Client ID and the Apple Cloud Function URL, I do not recommend you to put it on the manifest. I put this field because it will be easy for you to integrate it without doing anything, but this is not a good practice to put the Apple Client ID and the Apple Cloud Function URL inside the Android manifest, because someone can just open the ABK and go on the manifest and you will find your Apple Client ID and your Apple Cloud Function URL. To fill this, you should store the information into your backend and make a request to get this value and fill this value. So worst case scenario, if the backend isn't possible, you can hard code it in the AAR file for minimizing the exposure if you can't use a backend. So I put this field to ease your life, but please don't push it on production. This is very important. Okay, so what is the app client ID? So basically the app client ID, you will find it in the index.js. So for me, it will be this one. And for the Apple Cloud Function URL, you can find it here. So let's go on Safari and let's paste this URL. So basically the Google Console Cloud and / will try to see the function. So let's enter. And as you can see, we're able to, because I sign in with my account, we're able to see the two functions we create. And what we want to do, we want to use the exchange Apple code. So let's click on this. And as you can see here, you got your URL you will need to copy paste it. So let's copy this. Let's head back to Unity and let's paste it. Okay, so now we can save this. Let's try a new build. So let's do file, build profile. Let me do a switch on Android. So let's create a clean build. So as you can see, the application running on my Android mobile. So let's try to sign in with Apple. So let's click on sign in Apple UI, sign in Apple. As you can see, we make the custom URL work. So it pop up the custom URL. Now we need to log in. So let's try to log. I already got my login password registered on my Android device. So let's select this. So we'll continue with a password. So let's continue with the password. Let's continue. So it will ask us if we want to continue to log with the Firebase Toolkit sign-in. We will say yes, we will continue, and this is how the deep link will work. So basically, by clicking on continue, he will send the code, we will exchange this code, and after the exchange of code, we'll use the deep link to access to the Unity deep link, and with that we got the token and we can send it to Firebase. This is what will be happening, so let's continue. And as you can see, we are able to sign in with Apple. And what we see this is a bad tutorial, a Firebase tutorial. Remember, this is what I write on the iOS device. So I was able to retrieve all the information I got. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. If you watch this series and if you like this content, do not hesitate to subscribe, thumb up and comment. It will be very nice. If you feel like it, do not hesitate to buy me coffee. It will help me a lot and support me on what I did. So I hope you enjoy this video and I catch you guys next time. Bye bye.